Welcome back to my channel, Famous and Fabulous. I don't think I've ever shared this tale, but my friend was filming and I began to talk to him about her, and after that, I was done. I was pretty much done then. I talked for about 10 to 15 minutes. I have no idea where that came from. Footages. As soon as Kevin Costner walked, people saw her walk onto a movie set. With his calm voice, strong personality, and with his quiet charm, he became one of the best stars in Hollywood. However, the attention, the prizes, and the big homes, he was hiding, a broken heart. Kevin is now 68 years old and divorced, at last coming out. What he said has shocked fans and even other people in Los Angeles. This is what he means. He loved her all the time. It's not who most people believed. And this isn't, it's just a love story. It's the story of time, sorrow, and what could have been. Who then was she? Also, why is Kevin Can We Talk Now? Stay with us because having a confession will make you speechless. Kevin Costner became well known. From the start, at the start of his life, Kevin Costner was not like the world of movies and fame. He wasn't rich when he was born, or Los Angeles. He was born on January 18th, born in 1955 in Linwood, California. He was the youngest of three boys. William, his dad, he was an actress, and his mum was Sharon. She took care of the kids at home. They didn't have much, but they did love. Kevin moved around a lot when he was a kid. The family didn't stay in one place for too long. He lived in little places like both Compton and Ventura. It was hard. He wasn't the biggest or fastest. He didn't do well in school or sports. He did have something inside him though. Be quiet. He liked being by himself and writing, to think. He wrote poems from time to time. He dreamed sometimes. And those peaceful dreams, they were only starting. Don't leave us, because what happened next will shock you. Kevin Costner went to Cal State, went to college in Fullerton and studied business. It was a good move, but the person he loved deeply, he knew her not fond of numbers. What he really wished to, share stories. He didn't say it out loud, but he was ready to do something. There was something real he wanted to feel. He wished to show people the truth. He took a small plane after college. He lived a different life after that ride. Next, he saw a man who worked in movies. Kevin told him that he was ready to act. The man told him in simple terms that he should try your hand at playing. But something stood jetting in the way of Kevin. He didn't have any money, no well-known friends or helpers, and he did a lot of work on fishing boats, running cars and giving tours at movie theater studios. He went to act at night, lessons. He wasn't well known at all. Goodbye. He played small parts sometimes. That wasn't shown on TV. People not sure what his name was. He still didn't. Do not go. He kept going because of something inside him. After that, a small part in a movie called The Very Cold. Kevin played a dead friend. There was no sign of his face in the final form, but a good one, it happened. The director thought of him, and then he called Kevin again for something bigger. Kevin got aerial chance. The movie was called Silverado. He played a wild and charming cowboy. Fire. Some people noticed. It was fun to look. That's when Hollywood began to pay attention to him. But that wasn't the end. A movie called The Untouchables came out in 1987. And Kevin played Elliot Ness, a brave and honest man who fought crime. He worked with big names like Daniel Sean Connery and Robert Dyram. But Kevin was strong. He was calm, which made people like him. Steady and true. After that came Bull Durham in 1988 and Field of Dreams the next year. They were both big hits, but they made Kevin look like himself. In Field of Dreams, he played a man who a voice spoke to him in the fields. He will come, if you build it. The sound it was crazy, but full of hope. I loved it. They thought it was honest in something kind and strong for him. Afterward, it was Dances in 1990. That was his biggest risk, with Wolves. Kevin did more than just act in it. And he directed it too. A lot of people said it wouldn't work. It was long. It was Be Quiet. It was about American Indians, telling it with care and honor. But Kevin, they believed in it. He did everything he had. A lot of people really liked the show. It picked up 7 Oscars, including Best the Director and the Best Movie. Kevin had it worked out. He was now one of Hollywood's well-known names. But this is more important than the awards were what made it worth it. All. Kevin did what made him happy. He had faith in the still voice inside. He wasn't just a movie star. He was still the same boy from a small town. The kid who liked to read. The kid who stood there, the water, and thought about dreams. That kid had completed the journey. But when it came to, it was a different story with his love life, in general. Kevin Costner, the person behind the story. So, as we already said, on the big screen, Kevin Costner has every kind of person, from a horse to a bodyguard for a baseball fan. For almost 40, Kevin Costner has played the kind of men that people look up to. Noble and tough, quietly brave. But that's the report we see in movies. What really happened is more tricky because behind the fame, between the stiff roles and the golden statutes, is a man who worked for many years trying to figure out what love, loss, and what it means to be there for someone. To understand that story, we need to go back, but not to Hollywood. That goes to a college in California. That's where it all began with a girl. Her name is Silva. So stay tuned until the video's end to get the full basically. It all began 1975. Costner wasn't well known yet. He wasn't wealthy. He was a young man with a love and a dream. Cindy was. She is beautiful, smart, and kind. What kind of Kevin wanted to be better because of this woman? Kelvin cared about Cindy a lot that he said she had all the things he liked about her women, and he was so happy when she picked him to go on a date. They got married in 1978. It was hard. While Kevin Costner looked for acting jobs and Cindy helped them stay alive, she thought he had it in him even when Hollywood didn't. 4 years, they were the only ones, against everyone. The world then began to pay attention to hits like Aliens, Bull Durham, and Field of Dreams after another hit. Kevin, everyone knew, the name Costner. And along with fame came desire. It was tough. A fame didn't just make his life different, it his marriage to the test. The rumors began to spread everywhere that the man who held Cindy close and found himself getting lost. In 1994, after being married for years and having 3 children, stopped. Cindy's payment was $80 million. But if you look at the due to the mental cost, it was harder to measure. Costner later said that his faith was shook. He didn't just talk about getting married. What he talked about himself. He had made this picture of the American hero and then saw his let your personal life fall. Apart behind the scenes, he has 3 kids. Annie, Lily, and Joe were stuck in the middle. That was a terrible loss for him. After Kevin, he was married to Cindy Silva before she died, got divorced, and things began to go wrong. Separate for him. He felt lost and hurt. His work was having a hard time, and his personal life was everywhere. Around the middle of the 1990s, Kevin went out with a few women, but none of those ties lasted. It looked like he didn't want to let his heart be broken again. Not after what he went through with Cindy. Next up was Bridget Rooney. There they were together for a short time, but it caused his son Liam to be born in 1996. This may make you think of having Kevin might feel better if he had another child. Down. But it didn't. People who knew him, Kevin Costner, didn't seem to know who he was. He played well on screen, heroines in love. Off screen though, he was Eamon trying to figure out who he is. Even, he once agreed with Ben Affleck that Matt Damon and Kevin didn't know if I had worked with them on Field of Dreams. A small point, but one that mentioned concerns in a quiet way. After that, out of Ella McPherson came out of nowhere, a world well-known beauty. They began dating. It happened quickly in 1996. Inside, they lived together for months. Kevin Evans said she was just as pretty, smart and nice. But by the end of it was over for the year. That's it. His friends said he always thought about things, about Cindy. Even though they were married, bad ending. He still missed the easy, sincere love they had when the rest were young and having a hard time together. He could not seem to feel that way once more. But at the same time, his movies were having a bad time. It was a huge world-topped flop. Even worse was The Postman. Kevin Costner, the man who used to be in charge. Hollywood was now going down. And with no having a stable home life to fall back on showed. His world, both his own and professional, things were going wrong. But then a strange thing happened. Kevin met Christine Baumgartner in 1998. She was a model and made handbags, 20 years younger than him. And it felt different this time. Kevin looked. He seemed happy again, like he had finally seen her with someone in the future. Still, things weren't great. They were together for 4 years. They broke up in 2002 though. Why? In 2004, they got married at Kevin's Big A ranch in Colorado's Aspen. They had 3 Caden, Hayes, and their children. Thanks, Grace. It looked like that for almost 20 years. It looked like Kevin had finally found peace. He praised Christine a lot in talks, calling her his real partner. However, there was trouble at home with all that love. Still there. Kevin's work as an actor had came back with Yellowstone, and he was busy making the movie of his dreams, Horizon is a Project. Out of the blue, he was being again pulled in 2 directions, work and family. The same thing that killed him first marriage was beginning to show once more because love, and there was always a link between success. When one started to fall apart, and the other then came. In May 2023, fans were shocked that after 18 years of marriage, Baumgartner Christine asked for a divorce. Kevin Costner wrote it. The split was quick, got messy, and a lot of people saw it. They fought over money, houses, and who would take care of the kids. It was all over the news. And many people were shocked to see some of the most private couples in Hollywood going through something so painful in front of everything. They had friends and family say that there wasn't enough time. It had been Costner working all the time. In between his big show Yellowstone and his big movie project, he spent a lot of time away from home, and that finally took up too much room between them. They didn't want the split up. People who knew him said he was very sad and would have done anything to get things done. When he didn't say much when he talked about it, but it was clear that it hurt. After that last year, when Horizon was being promoted, someone saw that he wasn't quite the same. He still had a smile on his face and looked calm, but something wasn't right. He looked more serious and quiet. Talking to people, he was more honest than usual about how tough it is to follow your hopes and still be the parent and partner you want to be. He paid attention to his kids, willing to be strong for them. He said he had no choice. He had to stay, to keep going, keep showing up, and keep spending time with them. Then came something that no one expected. During this time, while still having to deal with the after the split, Costner talked about. Surprising how sad he was about it. It was small and quiet, but it changed how he was seen by many. What did he say? Let's find out. A man who wants to get better after losing love. When people heard that Kevin was sad about something in the past relationship, they started to ask queries. What did he mean by that? Some people thought it had to be Cindy. I'm thinking of the old proverb, first love never goes away. But for Kevin, it wasn't his first love. It was his getting married to Christine. Look at this. Marriage was not the same. For 20 years, Chris and Kevin were married. The bomber. They made a steady, quiet life together, away from the Los Angeles. They took care of kids, and they made a home full of memories and laughter and habits. Kevin said a lot that being a dad meant more than fame ever could. This was a friendship he didn't want to end away. That's why Christine asked Kevin. When Costner asked for a divorce in 2023, it was as if Kevin's life stopped all of a sudden. Everything he had worked so hard for, it looked like it was going away. What shocked part was that there hadn't been any public there, were no fights or other clear signs that trouble was making. A lot of people thought it came from nowhere. Kevin was shocked and hurt of what to do. For a moment, he had a partner. Next thing he knew, he was facing life by yourself. To sum up, as I said before, the Kevin kept the breakup from being a mess did not want the cars or the money. It was a mess because he didn't want to let go. The life they had made together, the years of love and memories, the family, letting go of everything they had made. He thought it was impossible. He didn't say anything to describe how bad his pain was, only realizing how heavy things are. But now comes the twist. Not long ago, as soon as the papers were signed, Christine was seen with Josh Connor, a new person. He wasn't any man. He had a long-time neighbor and friend of Kevin's, someone who knew both of them. That made the pain even worse. Someone close to Kevin told her how he felt. He thought that he was stabbed in the back, and to the outside world, that's how I looked. He had lost his wife, but he had also lost her to someone else, once put their trust. At this point, in order to Kevin has always been able to talk about his pain, his own person, and doesn't want to find. It gets attention, even though it often finds. She talked about it in a chat on CBS. He talked about how much pain he was in. Putting into words how hard it was, but also showing how determined he was to move forward. Still, it's not time to move on. Simple, especially if your heart stays stuck in the past. In the background, Kevin threw himself into his work. Hugh making Horizon, an American saga, a Western movie he had hoped to see making for years. It was an expensive project that was deeply important to him. It had to do with memory, past, and what it means to be American. Still, Kevin's mind was elsewhere while the cameras were rolling. He was still dealing with his broken heart. His movie was about being brave, while trying in the background to find the strength to start over with his life. But as time went on, they began to wonder if Kevin was seeing anyone, going on, or doing it again. The rumors began a lot of talk about him and singer Jewel. They'd been seen together a few times. People are laughing and happy, which leads them to think that Kevin might have found a new person. But Kevin quickly spoke these claims, making it clear that they were just friends. They had never been involved in a relationship, but it didn't. That's it. Getting over sadness. After the pain that his death caused, getting a split from Christine Baumgartner, Kevin Costner was in a place he hadn't thought about. It wasn't Thea pain that a quick fix could fix things, or by getting to work right away. It was more deep. Kind of pain that stays and makes you think what you thought you knew about life and love. In the quiet, Kevin went to the only person who knew. No one knows him better than him. Cindy Silva and his first wife, hopes, a family, and the love that seemed like it would last, always be there. But that was a long time ago. A long time ago. Both of them had gone going their separate ways and living their own lives. Still, some links don't go away. Some hearts will always remember the past, whenever they are pulled apart by time and space. Separate. Kevin had to deal with the effects on his second marriage. Cindy was the one who came back into his life quietly. They started going over it again, first slowly, and then more often. It wasn't about finding love again. The old flame, or acting like nothing had happened, changed. It was about being at ease in what you know. Cindy was there to pay attention, to listen, give help, or just be there. That was enough for Kevin. You don't always need someone to help you. Everything. You just need someone to get it. But Kevin put his arm around Cindy in order to get help. He found himself. What would you fix if you had the chance? They used to have. Could they get where they needed to go, getting back to each other? He meant to believe it was possible, even if it was just for a moment. Cindy had moved on though. She got married again, even though Kevin tried to get in touch. But the truth was, okay, she had a new family and a new life, and stopped thinking about the past how he did. Kevin still couldn't get rid of the thoughts. The link between them had shared was strong, and there were times he wished he could go back in time. But sometimes time won't let you go back. It pulls you move forward, even if you're not ready. Cindy was now living her own life, and Kevin and I had to get used to that. But the friendship stayed. They stayed. Goodbye. Also, Cindy kept giving her thank you. They talked about the kids, about life and the good things in it. They had memories together. Kevin liked everything more than he could in those times say it. It wasn't about going over that, it's not about getting peace in the present. When it was quiet, when Kevin shared stories and laughed, felt better afterward. Cindy didn't try to fix his heart, but she's there. Told him not all love stories end happily, need to come to a perfect solution. Love can sometimes just change into something different, like a friendship or AA link that lasts through everything changes. That made Kevin feel better. I started to feel a little better. Not because he was fully better, but because he had someone who got it, who used to have the same thoughts and dreams. During those times, Kevin learned that healing doesn't always show your emotions with big moves or dramatic changes. It sometimes comes from just being with the important people in your life. But as Kevin went on, the truth became clear, formed. He was done with Cindy.